Hayden, nice seeing you again to our next idea bite. We want to establish that as a weekly habit. We talked last time, we talked about habits. And now we are talking about an idea bite, and we picked one quote or one thing that is called like, is there something inside you feel that you rather be right about than be at peace about? And or do you know the feeling of the dichotomy of having the feeling of wanting to be right or wanting to be at peace? What is your idea you want to share with us today?
Yeah, yeah, this is something that I got from most recent time rereading A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he's trying to draw attention to the fact that there's an aspect within us, the ego, the self, that commonly get ourselves wrapped around the axle about some shit, that wants to engage in anger and conflict and arguing and wants to be right really bad and wants to have this story of indignation. But when it's very tempting, and the alternative of just letting it go is not very tempting. But the reality is that wisdom is knowing the full long-term consequences of your decisions, mindsets, actions, speech, and ways of interacting with other people. And to me, what this signifies, can you sense that there's something inside you that would rather be right than be at peace? What that means to me is there's this part of myself, there's this mindset, this habitual ways of thinking, this ego identity, this debater in my mind who doesn't give a shit about whether or not I'm actually happy, about whether or not I can sleep through the night, about whether or not I'm at peace, about whether or not life goes well in a way that I truly flourish on the inside. Rather, this part of me wants to be right, wants to win, wants to feel smarter than other people, wants to feel vindicated, and wants to wants to grow itself ultimately. And this part of myself wants to grow itself out of almost a sense of survival. Being at peace doesn't mean that I have an identity and an ego that's extremely strong and at the forefront and feels really prideful and good about itself. Rather, these things are antagonistic, and well-being often is completely opposed to engaging in little spitting fights and engaging in indignation and anger and resentment toward other people. And ultimately, what I'm working on with this is in the moment that I'm tempted to swell up with anger, to swell up with indignation, to tell myself and others this complaining story about how this person is so in the wrong and I'm right and I should feel good about myself and this person should feel bad about myself and blah blah blah. These tendencies and instincts, they don't serve me. They serve this ego within me that ultimately is not aligned with my well-being. And what the long-term consequences are, what the end result is, and ultimately what I'm after is to not suffer, is to be free, to be at peace within my own mind. And so that's a big part of, I guess, what I'm working on is rather than going right into the temptation of what looks delicious in front of me, trying to be right, trying to win this argument within my own mind or in the eyes of others. Rather, what I wish to choose is freedom and peace and transcending these small relative games, stupid games with stupid prizes, and in reality, stepping into something that's much deeper and leads to much more flourishing, which is letting go of myself, letting go of the argument, letting go of the conflict, the story,
Mm.
and just being accepting, being at peace, and being in harmony with reality as it actually is, as opposed to resisting what is in favor of some idea of what I wish, quote unquote, should be.
Yeah, man. True. Letting go of the inner resistance and accepting what is as a reality is really important for being at peace. You cannot be at peace if you resist the things that actually are, because you cannot change them through your inner resistance. Yeah, man. True that. I try to view it as through a lens of how does a good life actually look like. And the idea I want to share is the good life is built upon good relationships. And if you have this part inside you that wants to grow itself, like an organism that wants to survive out of fear of dying, it's like the structures inside you, your ego that wants to thrive. If you want to be right about something rather than be at peace, there's this trade-off being made. Having rather the structure more active inside your life about the things you want to decide upon, how you want to structure your identity or how you want to structure your life or your day or even your habits, and um, the relationships you are able to maintain through like peaceful kindness, and seeing it through this lens of rather being right than being at peace is the trade-off between getting a superficial idea that you have in your head and building a relationship with yourself and with others. So the trade-off can be seen in both ways. It's not inherently good or bad, it's just like it is. And there's a thing upon yourself to decide how you want to actually be the architect of your own life story, and using the structures that you build around your identity as a tool actually to build a life or to make a better life possible through cultivating this kindness towards others, this peace towards yourself, this not being at war with reality as it is actually also a chance, like an opportunity, I mean, for building a better life. But there's always this trade-off to be made. If it's this ego that just wants to survive because it feels threatened, it's another story than this identity structure that you want to build, and using ego as a tool for the possibility for yourself to create a kinder life, more meaningful life, more meaningful relationships, more meaningful creativity. And therefore, I find that sometimes it also can be a good thing if you are angry about something. Then anger can be a gift, because this energy towards the reality as it is, and seeing that there's a discrepancy between your ideals that you have, like having an ethical and fulfilling life means also to protect your loved ones and so on. And if you see a discrepancy between, okay, the world does not treat my loved ones fairly, and there this anger arises, you can use this anger as a gift, and the energy from this anger as a gift to direct it towards change the reality, to make it better for most of the people involved within your life, so that this incorporates the opportunity to have a more peaceful life in the future. It's like the survival has to be guaranteed before you really can be at peace and live on happily ever after, and being at peace. So this dichotomy between viewing ego as something that controls you or you control it is the thing that comes to my mind. And the opportunity of using ego as a tool is not inherently bad, and the other way around.
Yeah, that's some wonderful nuance to bring to it. It's so important to remember and so true. These things are a part of us for a reason. We have these things for a reason. And the real center of this is that ego, anger, thought, identity, all these things are potentially very useful, potentially very necessary servants, necessary, useful tools, but a terrible master. So,
Yeah,
thank you, Johannes. It is great talking to you as always. I enjoyed this
definitely,
idea
man.
bite. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, and
Appreciate you
yeah,
too, man.
we'll see you next time.
See you next time, Peyton. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. You as well.